Hello, and welcome to our Breakout Room summary video for our meeting that occurred last Wednesday, March 23rd from 7 to 8 a.m. Mountain Time. Today, co-hosting with me is fellow Eye-Opener Toastmaster, Norma Bruins. We'll get started with the summary of today's meeting. Norma, why don't you start us off?
Bryony Evans opened up with the joke of the day. She told a sappy story about how she tricked her boyfriend into sticking his hands on his cheeks. She made the audience spring out of their seats in laughter.
Our Toastmaster of the day was Ron McTavish. He introduced our theme, which is the beginning of spring, and asked in the introduction section, how do we know that spring is in the air? With basketball season, allergies, warm weather, sick kids, and everything else coming up as how we know that spring has sprung.
Double A gave the invocation. She provided an inspirational thought on the theme of spring as a time of renewal.
Following the invocation, Veronica Hatesma gave her icebreaker speech, In My World, which chronicled her faith journey as a missionary for 18 months in Santiago, Chile. She had great stories about how the historical events of the time, such as the mine collapse and earthquakes, really shaped her view and perspective that we are all connected in the world. With lots of gestures and a warm demeanor throughout, this was fantastic to watch.
Then Bev LeBlanc gave her speech, Redream. This was an evaluation speech where she was hoping to take some tips with her when she gave the speech again that afternoon. The speech, titled Redream, focused on how we can always pursue our dreams, even if we ended up as boring TV show watchers who sit on the couch and think about birdwatching. She effectively called us to redream our past childhood dreams and reminded us it's never too late to pursue an exciting life.
By this point, Ron was welcoming some Toastmasters who came in late, such as Allison and Becky, making everybody feel welcome, and also getting ready to say bye and see you soon to Double A, who had to run off to work. This became the start of our Table Topics round as well. Chuck was our Table Topics master, giving us springtime seasonal ultimatums to all of our Toastmasters. First up was
Ann Watson. She got the question, would you rather plant vegetables in the garden or ride on a motorcycle? Of course, riding on a bike. Whee! Who needs a garden when you have Hutterite friends?
Jenny Yu was asked whether or not she could control when it rained and to be honest with you, I forget the other one because she gave a really great answer about controlling when it could rain. She sponsors a charity run through the Rotary Club, and she wants to be able to make sure that it is a sunny day and that it rains in between. So that way she can have a great charity run with her and her fellow Rotarians.
Jacob had to decide if he would attend a frog jumping contest or make a kite. Moot point, but a kite in the sky. Frogs are gross. And he avoided a Mark Twain reference.
Our penultimate Table Topic speaker was Justine. She chose that she likes to dance in the rain. Because for her, back in India, dancing in the rain was special, to go out on a hot day and cool off in the beautiful feeling of cool rain falling down. Now in Canada, that went from beautiful to disturbing and freezing and cold. Norma knows what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, speaking of disturbingly freezing and cold. Anyway, and she prefers to dance, but she does it inside now. And our final Table Topic speaker was
Dana Holland. She received a very tough question. Would you rather be the best player on a winning team or the worst player on a winning team? Her answer was she is very competitive, and so she would choose to be the worst player as she wants to win.
All right, it was the worst player on a winning team. I guess I was the...
Yeah,
I was the worst player on the writing the script team. So there we go. That works. Anyway, next up was our evaluation section. The evaluation portion of the meeting was led by our one and only Norma Bruins. She provided excellent and smooth evaluations, giving evaluations to the evaluators, Not every general evaluator does so, and I think that was fantastic. She made sure to call on the times before every single evaluation and created a really well-run section of our meeting.
September was our first speech evaluator. She focused on the purpose of the speech and gave feedback on gestures in the frame.
Richard Lee Tai utilized the good, better, and best structure of his speech. He commended how she provided an aspirational message throughout. He raised a few eyebrows with his better remarks, but overall, this was a speech that spoke to very informative and inspirational thoughts, and he commended her for a speech that was well done. Liz was our table topics evaluator. She effectively went through all of our table topic speakers, providing one positive and one area for growth for each.
Jazz, Sherry, and Natalia as grammarian, timer, and odd counter, respectively. They provided thorough reports with Spanish and English ahs and ums considered, flowery language, and the greens, yellows, and reds of the meeting. Kevin was our Zoom master, recording speeches, renaming people with their roles, and screen shooting.
And Toastmaster of the day, Ron McTavish, did double duty, running our meeting after the meeting for all the people who could attend. And as you can see, many people were able to attend because it's a part of the meeting you just don't want to miss if you can. If you can afford to not have to go to work or watch kids right away. In the meeting after the meeting, he welcomed back some people who had to leave temporarily, and he also talked to the people who participated in table topics. He also talked about the name ideas for the club. We are in the process of renaming this club with the new online inclusive vision that we'll be having moving forward. Some of the name ideas that submitted were so far: Wingspanners, I for an International, Global Eyes, Elliptoid, Fantastic Toastmaster, Best Club, Mind Openers, Worldwide Open, Open to the World. Now, I know what you're thinking. I could do better than these names. Unless you were one of the 3 people who submitted them. Then I apologize for the minor insults. But you have until April 16th to submit some names. I have a few, but I don't know if they're going to have cultural cultivators or something like that. I got to bring some of mine to the writer's room. I'll be submitting mine soon. Norma, do you have any idea for a name?
Not yet, but I'm thinking on it.
Okay, well, I mean, that's all good. That's what we have time to do. We'll be deciding the name on the week of April 25th, and that will actually be our very first extraordinary night, is what we're going to be thinking about calling them, which is our second weekly meeting. That's an optional meeting. And that concludes our March 23rd meeting for Eye Opener Toastmasters. And this concludes the breakout room. Norma, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Kevin.
And I'll see you all next Wednesday at 7 a.m. or whatever it is for where you are.